Africa is facing a massive security crisis. Sudan is collapsing into war. Jihadist groups are expanding across the Sahel. The Congo conflict is pulling neighboring countries into fighting. And Russia is expanding military influence across Africa after France's withdrawal. Millions of people are displaced. Tens of thousands have been killed. And instability is spreading across the continent. Here's why Africa's security crisis is becoming one of the world's biggest geopolitical emergencies in 2026. Sudan is now the world's largest displacement crisis. The war between the Sudanese armed forces and the Rapid Support Forces continues destroying the country. Entire cities are devastated. Millions of civilians fled their homes. Food shortages and famine risks are growing rapidly. Large parts of Sudan no longer have functioning state control. Aid agencies say the humanitarian situation is catastrophic. Jihadist groups linked to ISIS and Al-Qaeda are expanding across the Sahel, especially in Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger. For years, attacks mostly happened in remote rural areas. Now militants are moving closer to major cities and capitals. Governments are losing control over large territories, and military juntas across the region are under heavy pressure. As France withdraws forces from the Sahel, Russia is rapidly expanding influence across Africa. Russia's Africa Corps, which replaced Wagner, is now active in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. The group provides military training, security support, and combat operations. Russia is using the security crisis to increase political and military influence across the continent, and several African governments now see Moscow as an alternative security partner. The war in eastern Congo is also getting worse. Armed groups continue fighting across Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. At the same time, Rwanda and Burundi are becoming more involved. Regional tensions are rising over support for armed groups operating near the borders, and fears are growing that the conflict could spread into a wider regional war. The human cost is enormous. Millions of civilians are displaced across Sudan, the Sahel, and eastern Congo. Aid agencies warn about famine, disease outbreaks, food shortages, and collapsing infrastructure. Many regions are now too dangerous for humanitarian operations, and the crisis keeps expanding. Africa's instability is now becoming a major global issue. The African Union warned earlier this year that the continent faces a growing crisis stretching from Sudan to the Sahel to Congo. At the same time, foreign powers are increasing involvement across Africa, including Russia, China, the United States, Turkey, and Gulf countries, because instability in Africa affects migration, terrorism, global trade, and international security. Africa is facing multiple wars and security crises at the same time. Sudan is collapsing. The Sahel is destabilizing, the Congo conflict is spreading, and foreign powers are expanding influence across the continent. This is now one of the world's biggest geopolitical and humanitarian emergencies, and the crisis is still growing. For more geopolitical and global conflict analysis, subscribe to Indo-Pacific Report Global and stay informed.